Hello, friends. Welcome to Season 2 of the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics, Get More Clicks Media, and Bora Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. Hello, friends. In this episode of Season 2 of the Dr. B Show, I interviewed Jose Velasquez and Jaime Rodriguez. We discussed the importance of the buying process of purchasing a home and what is the criteria, which includes having great credit. Some great takeaways here. Enjoy the interview.
Hi, Dr. B here. Are you struggling to get rid of stubborn fat but don't want to have plastic surgery? 111 Spa and Aesthetics non-invasive slimming massage can help you get the body you always wanted. 111 Spa and Aesthetics can also help you when it comes to cellulite treatments and body contouring massage. 111 Spa and Aesthetics offers a full range of skincare services, including facials, acne, scar treatments, skin tightening, microdermabrasion, and more. 111 Spa and Aesthetics are trained professionals with extensive skincare experience and utilize only the best equipment possible. For more information, please visit their website at www.111aesthetics.com. That's 1-O-N-E 11 SpaAesthetics.com, located at 10 East Moonachie Road in Hackensack, New Jersey, 07601. And to make an appointment, don't miss out, 201-520-1777, 201-520-1777, 111 Spa and Aesthetics.
Hi, everyone. Dr. B here with another edition of the Dr. B Show. I have some great guests today. I'm very excited to listen hear today's topic and great conversation. I have my tea. I can't tell you, they didn't sponsor me, so I can't tell you who it's from, but I do have my tea. So the lovely pleasure of having Mr. Jose Velasquez and
Jaime Rodriguez.
Jaime Rodriguez. Thank you. Nice to meet you guys both. All right. So Jaime and Jose, I guess tell us who you are first. Tee it up something simple, and then we'll dive into our deep conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So me and Jaime are two Latino lenders down in New York, the New York area. Myself from Long Island and Jaime from Brooklyn. He's Puerto Rican, Salvadorian. So we saw a way to be able to bring two countries together and unite them. That's kind of where the story really begins. Is kind of where we first met, right?
Yeah. We met in the industry. So out here in Long Island, we basically kind of like it's like it's a funny story. Like we kind of follow Jose to certain spots, certain banks, and we kind of developed a relationship based on just
I think a lot of it came back like when we met at a smaller bank together. Our backgrounds are so similar. Like I started with JP Morgan Chase, he was with Merrill Lynch. So, and then we both kind of ended up in lending at some point in time in our lives. So
trying to figure it out.
And then try to grow that platform.
Right. Yeah. So.
Love it. So tell us your role at East Coast. I think I got it right.
Yeah.
What are your current roles in with East Coast? What are you guys?
So we're like, you can say we're like a business within a business, right? So for loan officers, for the most part, especially like out here, I want to say Long Island, New York, just the way how everything works. Basically, we get to operate as independents, right? And I'm considered, I'm a loan officer. I'm an originator, so I can start a loan. I can start an application and bring it all the way through the end of a process to close the loan, basically. So we're senior loan officers, whatever you want to call us. But essentially, the main thing that we do is, in terms of our focus, in terms of our mission statement, right, is educating our clients. Now, we get people from everywhere, right? Every background, every nationality, and where we found that there's a bigger need in education is just primarily foreigners. I don't speak any other language other than, English and Spanish. So it's not like I could really, lend a hand in other areas, in order to educate educate people as to how this works, because it's very complex, very involved. You really need to be working with someone that you can trust. That's the bottom line. So, we decided that, based on all the people that we worked with in the past, that the Hispanic community by far, right, and the African community as well, African community actually has as their in terms of what what it means to get a loan, what's the process, documentation, etc. They're way behind, and that's kind of where we step in and say, what, every client we meet with, it's about educating them. Just educate everybody, whether they do the loan with us or not. We put it out there, not just in social media, but hands-on. We will take the extra time to build that relationship to the extent of where, we are delivering value and insight, before we even do anything. You know what I'm saying? So that they can make a sound financial decision. So that's kind of how we overall approach the business. And a lot of it is basically, just reaching out to people, making the connection, and then just kind of walking through the process. Because at the end of the day, this is for a lot of people, this is the American dream, right? It is the dream, so,
right. I think so, to kind of piggyback off of that, right? One of the biggest things that we're doing here is exactly that, educating those communities. So we've taken it to where we have this guy, Hector, that we work with out of the Brooklyn area, right? And he has accounting offices. So something that we have done is realize that the accountant's relationship and the financial advisor, because of our background, really makes sense. So we've been able to kind of plug in relationships with those
centers of influence professionals. Yeah.
Thank you. And really been able to kind of hone in on the Hispanic community, right? And a lot of times what we found is that the accountant, right, ends up being able to become a loan officer, right? So he actually gets licensed, and then we're able to kind of help increase revenue through his already existing book of business. So those are kind of two things, right? We've been servicing business clients here, and then at the same time we've also been servicing residential regular mortgages. So
that's the goal. We're heading in that direction where the relationships that we get at this point are really mainly for us to expand their services, expand their footprint, in terms of helping people and educating them and stuff like that. So we found that instead of going after just the end user, right, the person that's going to get the mortgage, we go after the referral source and establish good relationships with them where they can count on us, be responsive, be able to deliver on what it is we're saying, and ultimately just do the right thing, right, and not try to get rich on one client, right? Just help everybody, and ultimately give a level of transparency that the owner, the accountant, whoever it is that we're working with, the attorney, would feel comfortable with as well, right? We first test it out with the person that's going to give us the referrals. More often than not, we do their loans, right? Or we'll give them advice on that first, and then we go ahead and work with the people, the relationships that they send over to us.
Thank you. Great opening question. What has your experience, Jose and Jamie, whether it's Hartford funding for you or just JP Morgan and Merrill, how has that experience helped you in your roles today?
Oh, forget it.
Oh man, I think
it's a tremendous foundation. I mean, it's like a $1 billion training, right? It's like those corporations, they're not, it's not what you like. For me, the way I am, I know the way Jose is, it's not a place where those are not the places where we would want to build anything, because really everything's built, right? Basically. But it really provided tremendous amount of resources and knowledge, and just kind of a head start, right, to get into this, because they, in those companies, we We trained. It's kind of like those companies are always ahead of the curve in terms of sales and things like that. But the one thing they're missing is that they don't, they're ahead of in terms of insight knowledge, but not in terms of the people that can capture it and bring it to the table, right? That's kind of like how we come into that void basically, and really provide a value in that sense,
right?
Right.
And I think so with I think the large institutions, like the training that they had, right, like the sales training, everything else. What you're saying, they are state of the art, spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, right, on that. And what we got from Hartford, I think, right, from Hartford Funding was a look at what like kind of a grassroots local bank has, right? So we kind of had the experience of the two juggernauts where you have Chase, like a Chase, right, where it's a big institution, and then also a smaller, what you would call like a boutique bank, right, that services the clients like on a one-on-one rather than like on these like depositories like a Chase, So that I think it was both kind of an advantage to be able to kind of see both and then our own background.
And then once we got that experience,
once we learned the ropes, because there you could, it is. In the smaller bank, you could really learn more about the bank itself, how things operate, the actual business. So it's like, for us, it was like teaching us how to build a house, and we're like, oh, okay, we know now how to build houses, and let's start building that. And from there, we've been able to kind of grow our business within the business.
Yeah, and just transfer that knowledge to the people that we work with, right? Because we'll look at the build team, right? So everyone that we work with, right, whether they're a referral source or they're the real estate agent. We have we developed such a good base in those in our past experiences, because I've also owned businesses and had other I've been a private investigator. I was in the military, right? So I have a we have a pretty diverse background.
We've been entrepreneurs
our whole life. So 5 years. I mean, I feel like that's what I've always done.
Yeah, so you were selling candy. Like we sold candy in high school. So of course we're going to go more.
Like when they people selling candy at the supermarket, what's better than that? And but it gave us these skill set to transfer those skills, right? That knowledge to other real estate agents and other accountants, because even though I've met accountants who are very, very successful, they make millions of dollars, because they built the business, yet they don't have the knowledge I have. They just don't have it, right? They never walked in our shoes. They didn't have like, the long hours of like, working on investments and whether or not you're going to pull out of the market, you're going to invest. They didn't, it's a whole
right. They built their business differently, right? Because they're super analytical, right?
Yeah, and we come in.
And for us, in the investment side, it's you got to have a strong stomach sometimes. Right? It's a lot different.
Yeah.
So
we bring so when we meet with other professionals, we have the ability to enhance what they're doing just because of our experiences. And then from there, if we can do that for them, right, we can bring value by enhancing what they do or just their knowledge base, right? Just their ability to do whatever it is that they're trying to do, enhance that. That's how we open up doors. And I tell we've met people that I thought we'd never, even run into, and work with. Like I have actually, as a client, I have, and again, it's not, it's not like, holy crap, this is amazing. But, to an extent, right, like I have, we have as clients, the people that manage Estee Lauder's estate. Right, like the Estee Lauder, like the family, we have. They're like, so just to give you an idea, they make a lot of money, like a lot of money. The people that manage their estate and everything else, and it's kind of cool that like through there, like I've met celebrities, I've met so many good people, but it feels kind of cool that I feel cool. I like the idea that I meet the people that work with the people, right? That get to know them, experience, and get a real inside scoop on who these people are, how they made their money, all these things, because it's amazing. So yeah.
Great conversation, and I'm glad that foundation has helped you in your respective business today, right? So, want to switch gears a little bit. I sent you in advance a little stat according to the NYC Furman Center. It's an older stat from 2018, but it kind of it's the theme of the podcast here, trying to highlight Hispanics and trying to help out the community. That's the purpose of the show per se.
Right.
So out of house ownership, this is just 2018, right? I don't have stats for 2020 or 2021, but it's basically you have an idea. So 44% were Asian, 43% white, 27% were black, 17% were only Hispanic. So why do you think this is, in your opinion? Why do you think it's a lack of information? Is it a lack of resources? Is it lack of education? Combination of all?
I would say,
I would say it's definitely going to be a combination of all the above, right? Like and typically, right, and whether it's done for whatever reason, right? Typically, places of minority groupings, right, for whatever time period it has been, the resource that they have always lacked has been information, right? So you're talking about now we're talking about a digital age, right? So during that digital time frame, you would see places that had less money just wouldn't have access to the same stuff that you would have in a more affluent neighborhood.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, they might have the information, but they just don't have the insight.
They don't have the insight. So it's very different. So let me tell you, like when I grew up in Hempstead and Uniondale and stuff like that, right? The access to things that we had there was very different than when I moved to Massapequa and all of a sudden they had and I would see it, they were one of the first schools in Long Island to have smart boards. So the lack of resources, and that was an all white school pretty much. I was the only Spanish kid that was there, right? So all of a sudden I'm sitting there, I'm like, whoa, like stuff like brand new textbooks, like crisp. Like I opened up a textbook and was like, never had a brand new. What are you put a name in there? I'm like, wait, usually it's like 50,000
no graffiti, like
in the
like
back.
in high school.
What's going on here?
Wait, it's my birthday.
It's on the plastic wrap. Like, I'm like, what? It's a holiday.
Yeah, listen, it's no joke. I mean, as a matter of fact, I graduated high school, right, in Brooklyn, right? I went to Madison High School.
Okay.
And I don't think I wrote a paper until I got to college.
Right.
So, how did I get lost in the shuffle? I played, I was captain of the baseball team. I ended up being prom king. I was, and I did a lot of stuff. I worked all throughout high school. I used to ride my bike to the deli and work, right? So I did a lot of stuff, and yet, I never wrote a paper. So when I got to college, right, and just to give you an example, this is my experience, and I know that and that's why when I think about my community is that it just blows my mind because I was victim of that as well. And if I didn't have the right people around me, that guided me, those mentors, something that I do for people now, right, I would have been lost. I mean, I don't know, so I would have ended up in the military, not come back. But I did come back for college, right? That's what I did. I did the split option. Yeah. And when everybody else, for example, when they graduate high school, right, all things being equal, relatively, right, you get to college, like the easiest classes are English 101, right? Yeah. English 102. So that's just a basic, your first year. So when I got there, I took English 101, I literally the first time, and I got my test back, right? I handed in I got my paper back. I remember looking at it, it had an F, and the teacher looked at me and was like, "Is this a joke?" And I'm like, no, this is the best I got, man. This is the best I have. Like, whoa. So it was and then I was like, really? Okay, the next one, F. I'm like, holy shit. And then D, right. And then before you knew it, C.
I think so again. So, right. So I think on top of that, the institution of schooling is a whole set that is, I think, really off and terrible, which is why I think for us, what we're trying to do with the Latino Lenders, which is a social media that we're going to be launching at the end of this month, very heavily, is going to be educating the Hispanic community, and not just mortgage information, but really just the general base in general, right? And and in that community, there are people that still can't read or write, right? But if they had access to some knowledge base, just some basic financial knowledge, let me tell you, we've had clients. I had a client that can't read or write in English, can't read or write in Spanish, just speak Spanish, and was able to have how many? He had 6 restaurants, I think. He had 6 restaurants and that's
$5 million.
The right? But he knows numbers, and somebody showed him how numbers work. And that. So
a mentor support.
Right.
It's not, you don't do it on your own. You do nothing on your own.
We're trying to educate the Spanish community using our social media. And, that's something that we're super excited to start launching soon.
Yeah, because the need is
there. And that's why those numbers are down. It's just, we need to pump as much education in, financial, right? Because schooling helps you learn direction, right? But like, you don't learn how to do taxes. You don't know how a loan works, right? And a lot of people in those positions didn't buy houses themselves. So it's a lot easier in affluent neighborhoods where it's like your dad bought a house, your grandpa bought a house.
So for example, like, when you see that 17%, right?
Yeah.
That 17% is also not like, that's a 17% that made it basically that, they're lucky if they got serviced correctly because of it. So it's on top of that, right? So if you break it down, it's even more of an issue. It's like, that 17% number is not even like, it's like, all right, so maybe 2% of it got, the truth, a real, real hand in the process, right? Well, the rest of them will either get put into the wrong loans, because I see it all the time. I see where someone should be conventional, right? And they put them in FHA because FHA loans pay more. Because they are more work, but they're not what the client needs, and yet they fall into that situation. So, there's an advantage, like right now, like to people that have actually, went into those types of loans, believe it or not. Still, it's like, it matters basically.
Do you want to promote your product or services to your target audience but don't know how? Do you struggle with social media marketing and management? Do you have challenges with lead generation for your business online? Well, look no further. Get More Clicks Media helps with SMS, MMS, and email marketing. Also, social media marketing and management, video marketing, lead generation, brand recognition, SEO, e-commerce, and website development. For more information, please visit getmoreclicksmedia.com. That's getmoreclicksmedia.com. Yeah, no, makes sense. So great answer to that. And yeah, it also all starts with education, right? So what do we do as thought leaders to improve those numbers? I think you already touched on that. Can you kind of elaborate on that? Whether it's seminars similar to what we're doing virtual, what do you guys have, or what do you guys in your firm doing specifically?
You know what? I gotta say that I think a lot of it, the main thing, and I know it's kind of like a little bit more at a distance for us to see it, but I think it's really mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset of the people who are involved in the industry, right? Just kind of like seeing things a little different, right? So kind of change the point of view or the perception of how things should be a little bit in terms of like how what your work is and what you do. Something like, even because the people that you hire, I mean, we could choose to hire people that are complete scumbags. I'm gonna, rape and pillage and do right, because that could grow our numbers in a way, but short term, right? Or what we can do is, which is what we're doing, we are, people that come on board and work with us. They're, it's like-minded. It's like
we're developing. I think we're trying to develop a new culture.
Yes.
Right? We're trying to develop a new culture, change the culture in the Hispanic community and in the lending institution. As a whole, more specifically in that community.
Train more Hispanic loan officers.
Show them, bring them bring more into the focus. There's really not too many of us, right? Like we're in an industry where it's a few of us. There's enough people to get enough business. Like we're about to have in the next, whenever it happens, right? They're saying Biden's going to help pardon or whatever. And if we get that influx of millions of people they're going to need to buy houses, invest, whatever, right? So we need people that are trained and are ready to take on those people in our culture in the right way. Right? So
legal.
Right. So we're going to need clients. We're going to need clients. We're going to need, new loan officers that we can help train and not take advantage of those people, because unfortunately that's what happens to us when we're not educated enough.
Listen, there's not enough Hispanic loan officers in the industry. You pull up, let's say you pull up the NMLS, like the national, what is it called?
NMLS.
NMLS, right? If you call up at NMLS, and you try to, get a hold of a English-speaking, person to assist you, you're going to be there for a while. But if you call the Hispanic line, right, or you switch over to Spanish, literally they pick up right away. So, and they speak English. So if you want to, by the way, anybody,
you want to cut the line?
Go Spanish. Yeah, go, and they'll speak English anyways. They'll skip the line basically. But it goes to show that there's
not that many.
No representation.
It's just that
so we're basically at this point in a position where not only are we trying to educate the Hispanic community, because kind of that's how it sparked everything, but ultimately be able to change the culture internally in the banking industry with the people that we're working with, and spread that. Be the example. Be the example. Lead by doing the right thing.
Por ejemplo. Lead por ejemplo.
Lead por ejemplo.
Lead por ejemplo.
Hey, I don't want to take away from the next person's episode or a future episode because he's going to talk about credit, but I do want to stress with you guys that we're sitting here how the importance of credit and how it impacts buying power. Whether it's you're changing a job, whether it's big purchases, why hold off after closing? There's certain rules of thumb. Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit as far as why not change jobs until after the closing, or it's a two-part question basically. One, the importance of credit, then two, the importance of those myths that you hear. Don't change jobs while during the process, or don't make big purchases during that process. So.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll address the first part because there's a couple of things, right? Importance of credit. So the importance of credit can be drastic depending on where your credit lies, right? And I think that's really like the misconception, right? Because there are certain breakpoints between, let's say, 640 and a 700 credit score, right? Once you reach that 700 or 720 mark is when you kind of get that bump in getting a little bit better of a rate, right? So I think kind of helping people understand and like showing them, because that's something that we do. We show them where their credit is, right? So let's say you're at a 700 or a 705 or a 680 or whatever, and looking through a system, we can see that we can bump your credit up. If you pay a credit card or something like that, like we'll help you out, and you'll bump it up 10, 15 points. That 10, 15 point bump up can be anywhere between like an eighth of a point to.
And listen, it can get down to the point where the credit can be such a huge difference where the same person, it's like you see when you buy a car, right? One guy can come out paying for the same car like $200-300 more for the car. In this case, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So that difference in an interest rate, it's tremendous because it makes a difference on what kind of house you could buy, what kind of loan you can get, right? If your credit is not good, you're not going to get a conventional loan. It's probably not the one that, you're going to pay PMI if you're not putting, more than 20% down. So the credit makes, it's a make or break situation, first of all, because if you have a low credit under 620, you're basically the terms of your loan are going to be horrific. Right. And it's, your payment is going to be much higher than the next person. So, how does that?
And in some cases, too, especially with like FHA right now, we're also seeing anything over below 620. They're also asking for reserves. So they also need they want to make sure that you have, let's say, 3 months or 6 months in the bank as well. So
it can affect it a lot. It has a huge impact, on your interest rate, and potentially on the ability of getting the house that you're looking for. Because the higher the rate, the higher the payment, the higher the debt to income ratio is going to be for that loan. So you can buy less house.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot.
Right. So the credit's going to be super important, and then. The changing of jobs, I mean, I definitely wouldn't tell.
Or having big, making a big purchase or something.
Yes, those are two things.
I've heard people actually say, "Oh, can I take out a loan for the down payment, right?" Oh. And things like that. Like, just, once you're gonna buy a house, unless it's an emergency, you don't want to take out a credit card. Just don't even show it to anybody, just in case it just money comes out of it. Just keep it, lock it. You
know what I think? I think the real thing of it is going to be kind of once you're in the process, especially once you're in the process of buying a house, whatever move you kind of want to make, just let us know, or let your professional kind of whoever you're talking to know, because it could affect them. I mean, it definitely will affect them. If you change the job or take out a purchase.
Where it would be a huge thing is that when you have, let's say, 3 buyers, right? Mm-hmm. One is the one that, let's say the main one of the couple is the one, so they're married and the third person. and they want to, they're all doing everything perfectly, right? But that other person, right, doesn't, they're on the co-signer, they're on the loan, and they follow no rules. They're buying things, they're doing things. So when they're
co-signing for everybody, they're co-signing.
When they have multiple, when there's multiple borrowers, that's even a bigger concern, right?
Yeah.
Because then you have people that can mess up the loan just by doing something that was like completely out of the control of the person that's really trying to get the loan.
Right.
So yeah, it could be. It could kill the deal basically. It could kill the loan by over.
Simple. Got it. It'll kill the deal. Gotcha. What advice would you give? Let's say Hispanic or not. Let's say Hispanic for the sake. What advice would you give a Hispanic looking to purchase a home? What should be their first step? Is it the credit? Is it the myth? Do you have to have 20%? Can you do FHA? What is the first step? A Hispanic professional say.
You know what? I think this is probably going to be the
credit
most
is really
simpler. I think this is probably I would say one of the most simplest questions is you kind of want to have everything in line, right? And you kind of want to know your own situation. So that's something that I think.
Well, the first thing right off the bat is you want to run your credit, right? To make sure, see where you're at, right? Yeah. Find out where you're at to see where you're going to go. Basically, if you don't know where you stand as far as your credit, right, then there's there's really not much you can do past that point. Now, once you know what your credit situation is, right, or at the same time, you should be saving money. So you want to, I think the credit is more of it's more of a deal breaker than the actual money, because you can put down as low. We have some programs with like Home Ready, where you can put down as low as 3%. Right. And, better terms. It's like almost like FHA like rates, and also a lower PMI, which is, something that, in fact, we bring to the Hispanic community all the time. We make sure that anybody that can take advantage of that loan, and it's not specific to the Hispanic community, but anybody that can take advantage of that loan, that we implement it and at least go the extra, few steps to make sure that they qualify. I
think really it kind of piggyback off that is that kind of what you said, right? Like, we need to know the credit, you kind of need to know the scenario. So the most important thing is going to be to come in, or Zoom, or like have that face-to-face meeting, right? Like you want to know if you can buy a house, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, whatever purchase. You need to talk to someone first, right? Give them the financials, let them take a look, and then kind of like what we do, exactly that, help guide them through that process. Really,
because we can,
once we have their credit, once we have their information, then we go to work, right? Like,
so basically, once you have the credit, right, we can actually help you, raise your credit too, right? Mm-hmm. So if there's an area where we can, we can improve within your credit report, we can actually do that for you as well, help you. Right. And then, but if you need someone who's more of if it's more of a serious thing, right, with the credit where it's there's charge-offs, bankruptcies. There's a lot of things. Right. Part of our job actually is to look at all those things and find a way to get you the loan anyway, right? So as we're going through, we're chipping away at the areas that we need to fix, right? Work that area.
I think a lot of that comes from the fact that our financial background, because back when we were at Chase and Merrill, we had that fiduciary. So when we look at loans, we look at it as a whole and not just the one product that we're doing at that moment, which is
right. So anyway, so basically once we have a good idea where you stand with the credit, then we can say, hey, listen, if you put this money, how much, if you have this amount of money saved, you can do this. We can actually start putting the plan together. So I would tell anybody who's looking to buy a home, for some home buyer, whoever, they need to seriously take a look at, come in, run the credit. It's a soft pull, right? It's a soft pull, basically, right? It doesn't lower your credit score, and in fact, you have nothing to lose, everything to gain at that point.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. I'm gonna throw you the last curveball, and I didn't give you a warning about this one. So regarding student loans, do you advise to kind of what are your thoughts on student loans? I know that's a big burden even for me, right? So it's helped me and it hurt me in the past. So what advice would you give to those folks coming out of school, regarding student loans, of course, paying on time? But what are your thoughts on that?
So essentially, when the good thing is that as soon as you come out of college, right, you can qualify for a mortgage. You don't have to have the 2 years, right? Right off the bat, you fulfill that guideline, that requirement, right? So with people coming out of college, I feel like and they have student loans. We just have to. There's certain ways that we apply. Basically, we have to apply. It's 1% of whatever that monthly payment is, right? So,
because you can defer it and everything else, but
but you still have to. Yeah, we have to still do it. I mean, there's really not much they can do. I mean, other than just kind of try to pay it down, and there's really not a lot of wiggle room there. What's happening too now is that they're looking for ways to basically do away with that, right, and not count it against your debt. But at this point, it is still the 1%, and so not much there. I mean, maybe that's definitely
that's something that might be in the works. So maybe in the springtime or the summer we'll do an update on what that new law might be.
I mean, one of the cool things is that
you never know. This administration is gonna defer, right? DECA supposedly 10,000, right? And then maybe
that's exactly it. So if that happens, that affects us. So everything's kind of like we could be sitting here in 6 months and be like, oh yeah, no, now we forgive all that, or so that'd be cool to find out. It'd be cool to see what happens. Yeah.
I mean, other things we do is we look for ways to improve their income in the sense of like for qualifying income. So let's say we find something that has like a home ready, and they do have those loans. One way they can offset the income, right? Because you graduate college, you're not going to be making $1 million, right? I mean, I do have a doctor that graduated college, and she's making like $400,000, right? So Jose was like, wait a minute, that calculation is wrong, Jimmy. She's not making $30,000, $40,000 a month. I think you put is that the annual income?
Oh yeah, remember? Yeah. Oh no, because it was a drastic jump from the year before. So I looked at the tax return, and I'm like, wait. You made that the year before. Now you're making this. That was her residency. It was her residency. Like after they get out, they start out as interns. Then the that jump is pretty drastic, right? Because we saw the doctors. So
it was unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I didn't realize. And I'm looking at the income like, dude, I think you calculated right. It's wrong. You're always supposed to average that. He's like, no,
she actually. So what we do is that we look for ways to supplement that income, right, without having to either pay additional debt or file more. Home ready, mother daughter, or a property that has a basement that is that we can rent. It's called an accessory unit, and someone has a bathroom. Has a kitchen, right? A stove, refrigerator, recessed window. I can give you that little extra income. So for people that are coming out of college, that's a great program because they, I can get them that little bit extra to, compensate for the student loans, and also, not go over the income limits that they institute on those types of loans. So that's kind of how we look for ways to, and of course, the more we lower the rate, the lower the payments, so we kind of offset it with the lower monthly payment with the rate. So.
Gotcha. Where can people find you if they want more information regarding the home buying process or to start the home buying process? Where can they find you? Great conversation, by the way. Great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, man. So my Instagram handle, you can find me at the Latino Lender. Our at the Latino Lenders is going to be launching on the 15th of February. So that is not up and running as of yet, but that will be up and running. So at the Latino Lender and at the Latino Lenders for the joint team. And then what's your handle for Instagram?
Oh, it's Jaime _Rodriguez_444. I gotta.
Yeah, that
I'm gonna keep the name, but I'm not gonna change my name. But
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate you.
And then
thank you so much for being on the Dr. B Show. I really appreciate our conversation, and I think my listeners will get some great insight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much for having us, man.
All right, take care, everybody. Jaime and Jose, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Has the pandemic changed the way you prospect today? Do you struggle prospecting for new leads for your business? Do you have challenges and don't have a process when networking at an event, either virtually or online? Well, look no further. Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course is a solution. In this 8-week intensive course, you will go from networking novice to Networking Guru. As a bonus, 2 coaching sessions with Dr. Jairo Borja himself are now included in the course. Don't miss this amazing opportunity to transform your pipeline, increase quality leads, close more deals, and transform your way to success. For more information, please visit our website, www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. That's www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. Hello, friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Dr. B Show, sponsored by 111 Spa and Aesthetics, Get More Clicks Media, and Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. Remember to transform your pipeline, increase quality leads, and go from networking novice to networking guru with Borja Consulting Group's Transforming Your Way to Success online course. Please visit our website at www.borjaconsultinggroup.com. Take care.